Kenneth Burke. My company is Ileg Technology Screens. Got a little time, so I thought I would spend this doing something interesting. I wanted to do this demonstration last time, but I didn't get around to doing it. So now, I got a little time in here. I am going to get it done now. So this right here is a challenge demonstration, by the way. It is a test that should be done, needs to be done. Anytime you're buying any form of projection screen products or projection screens, you need to know whether or not you could have saved the money and you could have literally just did it yourself. So one of the things we have to back up when it comes to our products is to make sure they're not testing any form of black levels like fabrics and paints and stuff like that. Like the screen we built over there, it's all fabric. It's the same fabric we have this over here on that screen over there. It's the same fabric we have here, except for the difference is that one's coated and this one's not. So if it's not coated, it's not going to work without our technology. That paint you're seeing on this large screen is the screen we put downstairs in the conference room when we showed the pretty demonstrations off of it and colors and all that stuff. This is an Ileg Ultimate Apex Gamer. Now, as I told you before, we have the biggest list in testing when it comes to versus different products versus our products. It's called the black on black testing something, I think it is. I'm going to put the link below. I'm going to put the link in the other video. And this is what customers you should be requesting to make sure you're not going to end up buying a product that literally can easily match my cat's blanket at the end of the day. As I told you before, with gray screens, I don't see any of these tests. I only saw a person do it and they failed miserably in the test. And this is the reason why it's a huge red flag on why products need to have these tests done, because again, there's a lot of them out there that can easily match anything you can slide off a shelf for far cheaper. I've seen screens at $1,500 can easily match a house paint with no problem. So with that being said, you need to make sure you get what you paid for, because again, there are a lot of the customers who bought from this guy in the day didn't realize that the $60, $70, $85, $90 were handed over to this guy thinking they were getting something special, and they just ended up with basic house paint. They literally could have did it themselves. Matter of fact, I told you before with the refusal, this is a screen paint that we made for $11, and we sent it back to the person who was supposed to be saying that these paints were special, they had special abilities, they do special things for your projector. Refused to do the test himself. It was his own tutorial video, by the way, his own tutorial video, and he sent the paint back to us. That doesn't scream volumes of saying at the end of the day you back your product. That says that you ripped off a lot of people, making them think they're going to get something that they're not. So this is why these tests are important. He's a fantastic poster child for why tests are important. Oh, and the other one too with the game range nonsense. This products were never tested on a black versus black test. None of them were. We requested, we didn't get anything back. So yeah, you have to make sure you're getting what you paid for. Gray screen paint's the most dangerous thing on the face of the planet, and the reason why, because there's so many different versions of them. You go to Home Depot, you know how much paint can match a screen at Home Depot? It's a lot of paint that can do it. Matter of fact, all I have to do is go over to Sherwin-Williams and just pick up their sample sheet of the 35. The 35 sample sheet matches just about every gray screen on the market. It's ballistic on how much it matches. And like I said, I've matched this up against $1,500 screens matched. No problem. That's why these tests are important. If you're not finding these tests on the website, as we had to the person who did the demonstration, we're going to give you a credit anyway in the video, because you might as well, if it's your video. Crow 1176, he's the one that matched. If you go to the blacklist, you see the test there. Mind you, fact, it's the reason why the Facebook listing was pulled. He pulled the entire Facebook listing because we were going to put that video on his Facebook listing, and he didn't want it up there. Why not? We have these splattered. Oh, matter of fact, I got to do a demonstration today. I'm going to do a pre-record, and I got to put this. This is going to be everywhere on the different forum sites. Because we get asked this question dozens of times. I got asked this question when I first came in here. I got asked this question that people come in here. I got asked this question when I'm out there. So I know for a fact that this question does come up. So what do you say at the end of the day? You say and sit there and say my product doesn't match any form of gray paint because I tested it? That would be a lie, because you didn't test it, because we can't find tests. This is one of the lawsuits that's coming up against companies, a lot of companies, because they did not test their stuff properly, and we do know that a lot of their stuff is matching everyday household paints. So if you had this product for a while, and you thought, okay, well, we haven't had a time. You've been selling this product for quite some time. You had a lot of time to go over to Home Depot, Sherwin-Williams, Benjamin, or any one of those and go pick up some great paint and see how close you come to matching. Because it's very important. See, we gave away free blackout cloth. Like, say the blackout cloth that I use, or tablecloth I use for this over here, right? It's my tablecloth I use. I bought a tablecloth for $12, right? Now, I took a $12 tablecloth, and sometimes we give these away for free because it's a fantastic surface. It's excellent for painting on. And the customer gets this and looks at this and goes, huh, why did I just pay $300 for paint when I could have just used the tablecloth instead? That's why that's why you use our product. Because without our product, that tablecloth can't read white. You can get any black surface you want. The problem is they read a contrast level. Every single one can read a contrast level. They can't see white light. That's the problem. They can't read it. They can't pick it up. So it's something special about our product. That's why we have the black versus black test. One, it shows at the end of the day there's something special about our product than anybody else's product because we can read white light higher than any surface. Number two, you can't replace, mimic, or basically duplicate my technology at the end of the day because, again, we've been around for we haven't just started making black paint. You go back and check my videos on the digital 4K crystal onyx, you realize I've been around 10 years. Not one duplication ever. Kind of hard to do. It's extremely hard to get a screen to read white light. And then we got people who go out there that are getting sued for it. I told you we got 60. We collected 60. I didn't say 60 for what they did. We collected 60 over the weekend. These were people that were saying that black fabric did the same thing as our products. Do you have any idea how bad it's going to be for you in a courtroom when we pop in there with 300 lumens, way lower than what you use in your demonstration, and we do this in front of you? Again, I'm telling you, these are not light lawsuits. This is not lawsuits. You're going to get hit with 50,000, 20,000, 10,000. These are lawsuits that start at $1 million and up. So, best suggestion I could have for those people we haven't found yet, start removing quick. Because if you don't and we catch you, this is what you face in a courtroom. How is that going to work for you? Now, there's two ways we could go. We can contact your attorney and we can bring him over here and we can have him do the demonstration right in front of him and he'll drop your case. That's the better way to go. Because if he drops your case and he warns you to back it down, we get your own lawyer to tell you to back it down, to remove everything, we'll go with that. We won't sue you. We won't touch you. But if we don't contact your attorney, you're screwed when you walk in that courtroom. Our stuff is tested. Come on, man. There's no way in the world I sit here and do dozens and dozens of these demonstrations all day long. And if my customers at the end of the day, the screens wouldn't work. I got my customer testimonies too. So the screen doesn't work. If it didn't work, it didn't work. People on site, how would you pick a 150-inch screen through a window if it came out that dark? See? Jealousy. That's what it comes down to, jealousy. Because you're jealous. But jealousy is going to cost you money now. A lot of money. Over $1 million. That you don't frankly have. It's like the scenario, like I said, if I'll try to outrun the tree. Either way, you're going to get struck with it. So anyway, moving on to that. These tests are important. So how many companies have done these tests? How many? How many companies can match a gray screen? You'd be shocked on how many companies have matched the gray screen. We got a person in the room right now who's upset and angry right now. Oh, we know who you are. We can see you. He's in the room upset and angry and bitter because we're telling the truth. Your products didn't match, man. Jamie, look, face it. At the end of the day, your stuff does not work at all, period. You have scammed churches, schools, senior citizens. You've scammed just about everything on the planet. Your stuff don't work. None of it works. We tested all that stuff. It doesn't work. I got your product right over there. I just got finished doing a demonstration on why you're not TV worthy. No gray screens are TV worthy. Your stuff don't work. You want to sign today? I'll send a contract to you. No, I'm not trying to sign. You can just email me. I bet you won't do it. Because you can't back that mess up. That stuff is a hot mess. That's the reason why these tests are important. These are a perfect example. And we're going to use them. Long after you're out of the country, long after you're in the system already, and whatever God's sick in prison, they're going to stick you in. You are still going to be using these demonstrations as a way of basically doing what has to be done. So that your products are not tested in any way whatsoever. No way they're not tested. Now, you could rant and scream on the chat. I would advise you not to do that. That'll get you in a lot of trouble. But your products don't work. They don't work. That's what happens. Mind you, when I'm in an office Always be warned about this. You never know who's sitting behind me. That's why I try to explain to some people that were coming in chats carrying on. You know, I'm in an office. I'm not home. I'm in an office area. You don't know who's sitting behind me right now. You don't know who's watching the same screen I'm watching. That's when a lot of you were in the chat room screaming and carrying on and acting up. I had people behind me watching the screen the same time I was watching it. Witnesses. They can testify against you in court. Not smart, are you? I always told you, a couple steps in. Anytime you see me open up a chat room, you already know there's a purpose behind it. We got the chat room open because the reason why I want to see how many people are upset about this. Now, as I told you before, customers are not ranting about this. There's no customer ranting about trying to get the best product and not get ripped off. The only people who complain at the bottom of the comment section are people who supported the scammer and the scammer who ripped all these people off in the process. But don't worry about it. His time is coming very soon, so don't worry about that. That's all been taken care of. But anyway, as I said before, this is a very important test. You're supposed to have this test done for anybody besides him. Test is supposed to be done. So customers, as I said before, when you are requesting any form of screen paint product for your home or business, it's your money, remember, it's your time, your dime. You might get that dime back, you're not getting that time back. Make sure they have these tests. You want to be to go to their website, you want to be to see these tests. We have these tests logged, and every single product we sell, the tests are in there. These tests are at the bottom of the marketplace, and even have a home page dedicated to these tests. So make sure they're all tested. Now, as for people making product at the end of the day, you should have these tests done. These tests protect you in court. Because if someone makes a false statement about your product, as the people we're suing now, and says, well, your product came out this way or that way, you have yourself back 100%, which means they're going to owe you a lot of money. And if things get a little worse, if they did go out and make a bunch of these videos, you can get them for fraud in federal court, which means you'll have to serve time. So, will you back yourself up? I remember whatchamacallit did a demonstration. He claimed that black fabric could do the same thing as our products. We had that video, by the way. Black fabric could do the same as our... You remember testing how to do a black fabric? Test it, same as our product? That's why I know that some of this, for the video demonstrations, we've done tons of these demonstrations. Tons of them. So, the fact that people who have seen this stuff already, we say it's several different forms of hatred. It's hatred because I'm African American, because I'm black. That's one of them. We've seen that before. And, you know, if you want to talk about being racist, I can show you text messages from who's called me the N-word quite a few times. So, yeah, that's being saved to court, because that's separate stuff we're bringing up for that, too, on top of that. But also, too, as I said before, some of it's because I'm African American, because, again, there are people that are bothered that we're the first ones who developed the black technology. We're the ones who have our product most tested. We have the most advanced technology now. Another is jealousy, because they can't seem to do what we do. They've tried. They've tried to make my products multiple times. I've even given permission to make my products, and you failed miserably. They even tried to bring other people in that claim they could do the same thing I can do, and failed miserably, as in Rogers at the end of the day, who they thought was going to be the great hope to bring me down at the end of the day. Didn't work, did it? Nope, long gone, I'm still here. But anyway, this is my personal favorite. I got to do a recode over top of this. One point, they said that our product was Dynasty Black Paint. That's how it was. This is Dynasty Black Paint by Home Depot. That's Dynasty Black Paint. Now, here's the interesting thing. When we watch these demonstrations of people saying our products came out too dark, and I watch these labels, supposed to be our labels, right? As Rogers did. Rogers being sued for millions of dollars. As I said before, you took a label, you printed it out, you put black paint, you claimed it to be ours. That's a fraud charge. I mean, they can get you 20 years in prison for that one. So if you went on your YouTube channel and you stated that you printed out our labels, you put my name to it, you put my company's name to it, and you made false accusations that my business product came out this dark, prepare for prison, because we are going to be filing criminal charges against you. I'm looking for 20. That's what I want to keep me happy. That's 20 years. That's a long time, isn't it? But that's what you're facing. And then on top of that, the incredible outstanding lawsuits that are becoming your way that will cripple your financial, how can I say, financial hopes or whatever's left of it. I have no idea, but I know for the end of the day, you're going to owe me this money, because I can do this in the courtroom at 300 lumens, because my stuff is tested. So the question is, how dumb would you have to be to do something that stupid on YouTube not knowing that knowing our stuff is tested. So on top of that, any accusations made that we're using special equipment or software in our cameras also to file for lawsuits and also to prison charges, because again, or prison time, again, it's false accusations against my business. That's not true. Like I said, if anyone feels that any of the demonstrations here are falsely, we've got special stuff running on. Well, meet me in court. That's all you got to do. Sign, stop doing this, more of this, see me in court. I bet you I can say that 100 times a day and no one will sign that contract. So if we're saying this over and over again and no one's replying back to this, what are you going to do? Go on your YouTube channel and cry it's fake? Well, that's what we're telling you. Go to court with us. Let's just get this handled. Don't go on your channel and cry about it. See, a lot of you crying on your channel. You know why you're crying on your channel? Because you know darn well that you can't back it up in court and you're angry. That's why. And you're mad about it because you've been outed. That's the whole purpose of it. And once we find the videos of you crying about it, we already know you're guilty, so we come for you. So either way, you're going to go. You're going to make a choice. There's no choice around. You find your channel, you're crying about it, then what are you crying about something at the end of the day, unless you make statements about something and you can't back up? Careful. It's like walking on eggshells in a minefield with magnetic boots. Either way, you're going up. So if this happens to you in a courtroom, you know what that means? That means you just lost everything. And there's a good possible chance if enough of these videos were produced by you making these false statements, there's a good chance that you'll have to come back for criminal charges. Because it'll set a post date on when you have to come back to court. And then when you come back on that post date, I guarantee you 100% that you will not be going back home. I guarantee you'll have handcuffs on you, you'll be going a different direction. So I would advise you when that date comes up, bring up your friends and family so they can see you for the last time. Because I'm dead serious, going to throw you in jail. Now, if you want to get mad about this, what are you mad about? It's common sense at the end of the day, people. Don't do dumb stuff that's going to get you locked up. It's common sense. Don't go commit crimes and then whine about it later on. Be a man. Handle it. Take it like a man. Or a woman or whatever it is at the end of the day. Go rob a bank, what are you going to cry about because you got locked up, you got thrown in jail? Oh yeah, they locked me up, threw me in jail. For what? I robbed the bank. You know how dumb that sounds at the end of the day. You know the difference between right and wrong. I think your parents raised you in the correct way. I would believe so. So if that's the case and you were raised in the correct way, then what are you doing robbing the bank? There you go. So don't cry about it. Don't get on YouTube. Don't cry about it. You know what I mean? If you got something to say at the end of the day and you feel at 100% that my products are fake and real, sign. See you in court. If not, then stop crying on YouTube. Like a little cheerleader out there, just crying and whining about it. Don't cry and whine about it. Sign. I'll come right to your channel and type right at the bottom, sign the contract. And you don't reply back. Sign. Sign, sign. Sign, 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 sign. Nothing. All right then, whatever. If we catch you and you can't sign that contract, what do you think is going to happen to you in that courtroom? As for the Dynasty paint, please, give me a break. How much stuff we tested on this stuff? Kind of ran out of ideas. At one point, they said that my black hoodie and my cargos were matching, and we did that demonstration too. I actually made 4 different black paints to put against my product live. Beat that too. So how much testing have you guys done against your products? Now, here's the scary part about it for you. We're going to basically start dragging people into court asking for these tests because, again, you need to have yourself tested. So how much of your stuff is matching house paint? For the consumer who needs to ask these questions, don't care about the screen size. Don't worry about the paint price. The question you need to ask at the end of the day is, hey, will that thing match Network Grade 773? Because Network Grade 773 is a dangerous paint. Thank God I ain't got to make great paint anymore. I am so glad I don't go near that stuff anymore. Gee whiz Louise, that stuff is brutal. That stuff matched a lot of screens. And that's just one of them. There's like 30 or 40 of them in that sample sheet. Each one of them are lethal. Okay, well, that gave you food for thoughts right there. That is my people chiming in right now. I got to be somewhere in about a few minutes. But I would advise you have these tests done because keep in mind, I'm not the only fish in the pond that's going to challenge you on this. Everybody's going to challenge you on this. Every single person's going to ask you about this paint. Because you know why? Because we put that thought process in there. Because now customers are thinking about it. That's all it takes. Just one little thought process, get the customer to start thinking about, wait a minute, that's a good idea. I could make this myself. Yeah, you better ask those questions, because you literally be up there. Crow's customers at the end of the day who bought that Cinemax, who bought the Personal Mix, who bought the Metallica Mix 2.0, the Hyper Mix, all that stuff that they purchased from him, and they could have made that stuff themselves. There was nothing special about the product. For a person who's selling a product, you're going to have to prove there's something special about your product. What makes your product different from any other gray paint? What makes your product different from any other black paint? What's the difference? If you can't answer that question, it's a simple question to be asked in court. What makes your product special? We don't want to hear about no humdrum nonsense or the distance throw on the we don't care about that crap. What's the difference between yourself and a shelf paint? What's the difference between yourself and fabric? I can literally match this stuff to my cat's blanket. Bed sheets. We've been to match that stuff. That great cardboard, for God's sakes. Great tape. Great shoe polish. There's a whole lot of stuff we matched it against. Anyway, so what did you buy? And for those people who bought from Jamie and got ripped off, well, it is what it is for you guys. And you guys got ripped off. You guys bought house paint. You literally bought overpriced house paint. One of the demonstrations where he was doing the Frankenstein mix, you can clearly see it there right on the table. It's bare. It's bare paint. Bare 1050 and black paint. Right there on the table. Yeah, you guys got ripped off. You didn't buy anything special. You bought house paint. Same paint sitting in your living room, your dining room, outside. It does the same exact thing. There's nothing different about it. But this is what, some customers in the day, if you don't know what to ask for, then you're not going to know what to ask for at the end of the day. You got to ask for that test. Make sure all products are tested before they're sold. There has to be a number of roughly between 30 to 60 tests completed. Then make sure you get what you pay for. Make sure when it comes to matching house paints, you have to see multiple. For those people who actually are going to be attempting this, keep in mind that you have to do this before you sold the product. So if you're just now doing these tests after you sold the product, you're in trouble. You have to pull your entire product line. It's going to be a bit messy. It's going to be very messy. And anyone who previously bought your product, you don't start issuing out refunds. You can't back it up. And you get thrown into a courtroom, it's going to be worse, because you could get a court order to pay this money back. Restitution. So you better figure something out. Whew. Well, that's what happens when you don't test. See, we could have did like everybody else. We did no testing. Used to cop up excuse, force you in a dark environment. Our colors don't come out correctly, force you to calibrate. Or what do you call this, for a detail doesn't produce quite nicely. Advise you to buy 4K. Could have did all that stuff, you know what I mean? Advise you to buy ultra short those, because we know we would cut down on the distance throw, it would be less deterioration of the screen. We could did all that stuff that everybody else did. What would be the fun in that? Because if I knew if I did what you guys did at the end of the day, I wouldn't go anywhere. I'd be just like you guys. That's why our gray paint took out better than your product at the end of the day. We got contracted because we did the opposite of what you guys were doing. Well, there you go right there. So y'all got a bit to think about at the end of the day. And on top of that, as I'm saying this, there are other people online thinking about doing the same thing I'm doing to you right now. They're thinking about challenging your companies now. And any company is properly tested, it's going to come after you. But it's your fault. You chose to drive the lazy train. Not gravy train, the lazy train. You didn't want to do your work at the end of the day. And you sold your customers a bunch of faulty products. Yeah, man. I'm paying me $1 million getting your shoes right now. They get you on federal court on fraud charges, you got 20 years. You can do 10 to 20 years in there for that. Depending on how much of that stuff you sold. So deleting PayPal accounts won't help you, because mind you, you delete the PayPal account, it deletes on your side, not on their side. Get rid of your social media pages like Facebook and all that stuff. Don't work. Mind you, all that stuff is documented on the other side. It's on a server on the other side. So even if you do wipe out your stuff, it's still there. It doesn't really go anywhere. You really can't delete anything offline. It's impossible. Why do people kill me with that one time? I put it in the trash can and it's gone. It's never gone. It's never ever gone. It's always there. It's floating around someplace else. That's what it says. It's just not in your possession. It's someplace else. It doesn't disappear. It's virtually impossible. Just evaporates into nothing? No, that doesn't work at all, period. It has to turn into something. It's like if you're trying to get rid of trash. trash doesn't disappear at all. And if you burn it, still it's ash. It's something. It turns into something. It doesn't completely disappear. Water, if it evaporates, it turns into steam. It goes somewhere. Nothing actually truly disappears. You ever think about that? A lot of people don't really have deep thoughts. I have a lot of deep thoughts on that one. A lot of deep thoughts on everything. But anyway, yeah, your stuff is supposed to be tested. You should be able to come on a live stream and do this easily. Just like that, today. I'm challenging every gray screen out there on the market. Go out there and get yourself some gray paint, gray fabric, whatever. Try to complete our entire blacklist. Not blacklist. The black versus black test screen. It's a challenge on it too. It's on the it's a challenge. Try to complete it. Mind you, let me show you how difficult this is going to be for you. Not only are you going to match not one, but multiple versions of paint. You're going to do lots of them. You're going to make your own versions, getting in and go against your own screen. Not only that, you're going to be matching against fabrics and films, and whatever you can think of as black. It's going to be up there. And on top of that, you're going to do some pico projectors. You're going to do some venue projectors to show at the end of the day you're not using high lumens in order to alter and change the screen's white levels. You're going to be using this on everyday basic projectors from 600 by 800, 720p, 4K projectors, 1080p projectors, all that. And once you, oh, I forgot about the ultra short throws. Don't forget about them. You got to do ultra short throws. They all have to be done in fully lit environments, like hyper environments. And crazy extreme stuff we put our screens through. You have to go through all that, man. And then when you've done all that testing, right, now you got to go outside and do it all over again. Good luck. That's going to be a nightmare. You know the worst one of all those are? It's one you have to do against the white surface and the black paint at the same time at 1,000 lumens at over 16 feet back. Those are freaking nightmares. The screen has to show balance, which means it has to show a proper balance of being able to pick up the red high enough that it comes up, let's see, what's the word for it? It comes up, overpowers the white screen because the white screen doesn't have enough contrast, and to overpower the black screen doesn't pick up a white level. Just do that. And you're going to do it on every type of projector. You'll do it over and over and over again. So, at the bottom, I'm going to put down, in the same video, I'm going to put down the test that we have for the black versus black. And that's not all the tests. It's nowhere near all the tests. There's a lot of them on there. Those tests date back to 7s. Do you know how old 7s are? We literally had a screen paint under the number 7. Imagine where we're at now. So you had that many tests to catch up to. The test's like 5, 6 years old. You have to go back that far. So good luck. You're supposed to have all these tests done. Now you've been selling the product and you're not 100% sure that this stuff will match the shelf paint, you're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I got this under 30 minutes. I like that. I like it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I like it. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. He likes it. He likes it, Mikey. He likes it. I know people at the end of the day are like, man, this guy gets on my nerves. Hey, that's you guys. My customers, the people of customers don't have that problem at the end of the day. They like it when I out people at the end of the day. They love it. You know why? Because nobody in their right mind sits there and gets it one day like, you know what? I'm just going to burn through freaking like $100 or $200. I'm just going to waste it. You know what I mean? Just go out in the backyard and just set it on fire. Who the freak is thinking like that? Who's going to say I'm going to take $100 out of my pocket? I mean, I really don't want it. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward for somebody to burn me and take my money from me for the day. And I'm just going to take this money outside and sit on fire. Many people think that way. At the end of the day, unless you're super rich, other than that. But other than that, every day, everybody else got we save. We got to save money. So nobody's thinking on that level. People are trying to get something that's going to last as long as it possibly can and get the best that they can get out of it. That's the average consumer anywhere. I don't care if you're rich or poor, it's still the same consumer. Rich person don't like to get ripped off with not as much as a poor person or a mid-class or anybody sitting in the day, financially, how they may be. Don't want to get ripped off, they want to get what they paid for. You know, a rich person sitting there going to pay $6 or $7 million for a diamond that's flawed. It's got so many cracks in it. They're not going to be happy about that. The person that's screaming, we're going to get lawyers. I mean, we ain't standing for this. No, ain't nobody going to rip me off. There you go. So, if that's the case, and for the people who sell these products at the end of the day, if you don't want people doing this to you, say ripping you off, right? You want to be angry at Mr. Bird at the end of the day because Mr. Bird brings this to light, right? But how would you feel if someone did this to you? And say you went out and you saved all your money up, you worked hard, you and your wife, you know what I mean? You want to get yourself a house. You go get yourself a nice house, right? Put all this money into it, right? You find out later on this house has all kinds of structural damage, cracking infrastructure, mold, all kinds of stuff that's going on in there. Termites, crazy stuff, stuff that now has. If you try to sell this house, you can't because the damage on it is too low, and on top of that, the damage on it is too high. You won't get enough money for it. But on top of that, you're gonna have to put so much money into this to make this into a dream home. Wouldn't that make you upset? Or you go out and you see a car you like, you go by, you look over, it looks fine and everything. And the minute you go to the lot, it starts having all these problems and stuff. You'd be upset, wouldn't you? You want to go get an attorney, you want to sue these people. In fact, some of you might even go back and scream at them. Some of you might even go back and drive the car through the store window. But it upset you because somebody ripped you off. So, you're the same person who goes out and sells these junky products at the end of the day. You're the same person who lies on cameras and tells people false information, in dark environments, all that dumb nonsense you guys do. High-end projectors, calibrating, all that stuff. You trick and fool the customer to make them think they're getting what they're getting. Like when we did the demonstration with the gray paint, we turned out the lights. That dumb nonsense. You can't be truthful with them on that, but you'll get upset if somebody rips you off in the long run. Isn't that paint? That'll fly, isn't it? Yeah. Well, got a little message for you. Challenge Mr. Bird in court, and you sit there and say to them that my stuff comes out too dark and unwatchable, it'll be the biggest mistake you ever made in your entire life. Because I can back that up in court. And you can't. Because we'll turn the tables on you and say, well, we backed it up. Counter lawsuit means that we'll sue you for making the statement you said against me, and then I'll turn around and hit you again in court for basically that you can't back your product up. And get your attorney to drop your case. And as for the consumer, again, ask the question. You need to know if that stuff is basically what it is. Or you just buying everyday house paint. Because think about all the people that Fernando sold that paint to. Crow 1176, so to speak. Think about all those people he sold that paint to. And when you watch that network grade 773 fiasco and that stuff matched them, you got to think about the people who bought that paint and thought that paint was something special. All those people got ripped off. What about them? They paid money for that product. He blew it up to be this wonderful, glorious paint that had these beautiful colors and contrast and none of that. What about the customer who painted the screen to watch a soccer game? You see his screen? Completely gone, not even there. What the heck did he say to him to have him believe that stuff was going to work? He had to lie to him because it did nothing. He opened up his curtain, screen disappeared. All right then, this is why I ask the question. They start buttering up and start talking all this nonsense about their pot. No, cut them off. Like, no, I don't want to hear all that. Is your stuff tested? Cut them right off. When they start giving me that mumbo jumbo speech, that snake oil speech, you cut them off from the door. No, is your stuff tested? Ask them from the door. Is that stuff on a match house paint? Do you have any tests on this? Can I see this on your website? Before you give them a dime of your money. Because if the people had asked that question before they bought that Cinemax mix, when it matched that house paint, they would have saved some money. Unfortunately, they lost that. If it's within statute of limitations, you can take them to court. But anyway, as I said before, you need to ask those questions. You want to see all testing on product before it was sold. You don't want to see one demonstration, and not that fake demonstration. Oh my goodness. I showed it to a couple of people, a couple dozen people on different forum sites. That Frankenstein mix, we claimed that was the final test. That washed out, pale, pasty, ashy looking screen, that was a final test. That thing was so washed out, it wasn't even funny. That's considered to be a good product. I can get 1,000 lumen projector to fire up at 13 feet back. Easily. I can drop 300 outside and still read. Easily. You can make out the logs on a fireplace burning when we do our technology outside. And you mean to tell me you're inside with that little bit of window light and yet you couldn't even make out the image? And that's a final test? That's a final test. Jeez, that's freaking unbelievable. That's what they consider final tests. I told you, they go with the old scenario. The old scenario is, if we can see the screen, it can be washed out, bland, discoloration, whatever. As long as we can see it, it's approval. I might just buy a TV. All right then, I gotta go. I've got my time here caught up. I'm ready to go. Got some things I gotta take care of. Food for thought for customers. Make sure you ask for those tests. They start getting into that mumbo jumbo about their pretty colors and all that stuff. No, cut it off. I want to know and see your test. Show me your test. You know, look how fast they left the room. They don't want customers knowing this. They don't like the fact that we arm customers with information. Ask for test. Ask for test. All right, with that being said, gotta go and God bless.